Story time about how I caught my roommate with my fiance 3 days ago. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My fiance and I have been together for 3 years. He took me on a trip last January and proposed. He's been nothing but an amazing fiance. Families get along super well. My family loves him and he's so kind and gracious to them. On the other hand, my roommate is terrible. He claims to be a model on Instagram, but that's not really what she does. She's actually got a couple of sweet puppies, if you know what I mean. In the past, I've helped her out so much with money because she's always broke. I even loaned her $2,000 just last month to repair her car. My family hates her and they think she's super toxic. I have a soft spot for her because we know each other since high school and I know that she struggled a lot then. I'm a very kind and giving person, but she's totally taken advantage of that. Funnily enough, my fiance hated my roommate when he first met her. He thought the same thing my family did. She constantly monopolized my time, and if I was out on a date with my fiance, if she needed something, she would call me and ask me to go to the supermarket and pick up apples and stuff like that. About 2 months ago, I had to put my foot down. I'm in the process of planning my wedding with one of my best friends, and my roommate is totally stressing me out. He continues to criticize every single thing that I pick. I asked her to be one of my bridesmaids, huge mistake, and she made a fuss about the dress. She wanted a backless dress, but I didn't want that for my bridesmaids at all. I'm not trying to plan an Instagram wedding here. She was so upset about the bridesmaid dress that she actually didn't speak to me for about a week. I had to beg for her to talk to me. Eventually, she told me that she didn't feel sexy in the dress and that she really wanted something she could shine in. My best friend was with us when she told me that, so my best friend quickly corrected her and told me that the only person that needed to be shining that day was me, because I'm the bridesmaid. My roommate got super upset and told me that she didn't want my best friend coming over to our apartment anymore. Obviously, that was going to be a huge no because she was helping me plan the wedding. So instead, I had to get my fiance to come to the apartment and help me out. My fiance works a lot and he's constantly on his phone. He also travels for work a lot, so I knew that he wasn't going to be able to help me all the time. One day, I come home from work and find my fiance and my roommate sitting on the couch chatting. I actually got really happy because I thought maybe they're trying to be friends now. I wanted them to get along. My fiance and I knew that we were going to move in together right after the wedding, so I didn't have a problem with them becoming friends. Fast forward to 4 days ago. My fiance had his bachelor party and I had my bachelorette party. I had so much fun at my party. My roommate was on her best behavior, but she actually told me that she needed to leave early, which I thought was super strange. I get home from my party at around 3 a.m. I was wondering about my fiance, so I decided to call him. The phone goes directly to voicemail. A few minutes later, I get a message from one of his friends. It's a picture of my fiance and my roommate on the couch kissing. Then I get a phone call from the guy that sent me the picture. He told me he thought I needed to know what was going on. He told me that my roommate showed up to my fiance's bachelor party and that she was flirting with him the whole night. He also told me that she was pressuring my fiance to drink. My fiance has never been a big drinker, so it surprised me that he was even drinking at all. He sent me some more pictures of my fiance and my roommate. They were dancing and chatting the whole night. So I decided to show up to the bachelor party unannounced. When I walk in, there they are on the couch. Fiance was pretty inebriated and he was kind of confused too. My roommate, on the other hand, was totally fine. She jumped up from the couch and asked me what I was doing there. I asked her, "What are you doing here?" She actually laughed and told me that my fiance invited her. Unfortunately, I did not find them kissing or anything. I asked my roommate what she was doing there. She laughed and told me that my fiance invited her. My fiance was totally out of it since he had been drinking. That's when I pull up my phone and show them the picture of them kissing. They both start to deny it, but I'm like, how can you deny it? I have proof. My roommate told me that she needed to leave and she literally ran away. I actually had to wait for my fiance to sober up for a few hours before he could actually talk. That's when he told me he didn't remember anything. My roommate is refusing to speak to me and told me that she doesn't want to be in the wedding anymore. And I'm like, yeah, of course you're not. The only thing she said was that my fiance came on to her. My family hates him and her now. Parents don't want me to get married, but the wedding is a week away. My fiance swears that she did something to him. He's begging me for forgiveness and I don't know what to do. Please help.
What is the most effed up date you've ever been on? I'll go first. About 8 years ago, I'm sitting at Starbucks. Guy next to me is hot. I leave my number with the barista. Crazy. He texts me. He says, "My name's Tom, blah, blah, blah," back and forth. He goes, "Do you want to go to Hemingway's for dinner?" I'm like, "Sure." So we go to Hemingway's. When he gets there, he's a little late. And he's like, "Sorry, I'm late. I was at a meeting." I'm like, "No problem." Chit chat. Conversation's kind of okay. And then he goes, "Okay, I just have to go to the bathroom." When he gets up to go to the bathroom, he takes a massive flyer out of his back pocket, puts it on the table, and the flyer in bright red letters says, "Fascists Unite." So naturally, I think it's a joke. And I'm like, He goes, "Oh yeah, that's the meeting I was at. Be right back," and leaves. And I'm like, he's in the bathroom. The waitress comes by and she's like, "Do you want more drinks?" And I'm like, "Not yet." And her eyes kind of scan over the flyer and I'm like, "Not mine." Imagine she thought this was Fascists Unite, like me and that guy uniting. We're the fascists uniting at Hemingway's. Anyway, he gets back to the table and he's like, "So what do you think of that flyer?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What do you think of Hitler?" And he's like, "I don't know. Like there's some misunderstandings. The historical text isn't." And I'm like, "Okay. So now I need the bill post haste." Like he knew I was not being subtle. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Waitress comes, she goes together, separate. He goes separate. He gets his bill and he pays with a gift card. Now remember, He chose Hemingway's, meaning he chose somewhere that he could pay for his own portion with a gift card. Even if he said together and use the gift card, that would make a little more sense. Still kind of criminal to choose a place where you're openly going to use a gift card. Like, go to Hemingway's with your friends. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't get any benefits of that gift card, so I pay myself, and then I'm like, okay, this was nice. We leave. We get outside. He's got a bike. He's like, do you want to ride home? And I'm like, I'll do a lot of things, but sitting on a fascist handlebars to get to my apartment that's 2 blocks away after you used a gift card on yourself and left me for fucking dead is not one of them. And I know what you're thinking. This begs the question, what's worse? The fascism or the gift card? Don't pay like that. Anyway, his name was Tom, and I never saw him again. So Tom, the fascist, if you're on this app, I remember you, and hope, I don't know what okay, bye. Okay, I don't really know the answer to this problem, but they opened a homeless shelter in my neighborhood. It's an old hotel that they transferred into a homeless shelter last December because there was a bunch of tents, and they were like, okay, let's make a homeless shelter out of this abandoned hotel. Totally something I was a cheerleader for. Everybody in my neighborhood was like, oh, this is gonna be a big fucking problem. And I was like, everybody's not woke enough. Like, this is actually sick. Like, let these people take advantage of this empty space. There's gonna be a safe injection site. We got security, we got cops, it's all good. My dismay, I was horribly wrong. Everybody else was right. I tried to go into this situation with an open mind and really an open heart. But I'm angry. You know why I'm angry? Because this has turned the neighborhood, and I didn't want this to happen, and I was rooting for this not to happen, but it turned the neighborhood into an absolute gong show. What that says to me is that you're not actually helping these people. You're just moving them from empty abandoned space to empty abandoned space with no other resources, hoping that what? What are you hoping for? Print out some more money and put it into an actual rehabilitation program. If you're going to fucking give them a hotel, then make some resources and help available at that hotel. I walk my dog every morning. I walk by a man that just calls me a pervert every time I leave my house. That's fine. Except wait, I'm also walking over his piss and shit. Safe injection site on site, but you wouldn't know it because there's needles and elastics and fucking drug bags and shit everywhere. Everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean my area at all times looks like a concert just got let out. There is human shit, I'm not kidding, all over the streets. There are fire trucks and police trucks outside literally every single day at all times. Someone is often screaming. I don't walk my dog alone at night anymore because there are so many people outside that just kind of like scream at you or come up to you. Servers across the street from the Novotel, this is on the Esplanade. The servers across the street from the Novotel that work at the Keg and Scotland Yard, first of all, their business has to be down because everybody that eats on those patios is staring at a crime scene basically all day. Security leaves before the servers get off work, so they have to get off work and get their bikes and are very nervous to like go home, which is crazy. Meanwhile, the security's obviously not working that well because like they've been stealing like iPads, plates, stuff, like shit right off the patios from across the street of the Novotel. My friend lives 2 blocks away from me. She takes an $8 Uber home if she comes over past like 10 o'clock because she's like, I'm not walking home like this. It becomes straight up dangerous and uncomfortable for females. Once nice and decent tourist destination, I wouldn't fucking come here if you paid me. One who is renting is just leaving. They're like, this is crazy. Like, this was a nice neighborhood and now it's literally covered in shit. I can't explain it to you. Like, when I say covered in shit, I mean I could go outside right now and find piss and shit all over the street. No problem. The area is not helping the people you put in the Novotel. It's not helping girls like me who don't want to walk around at night or honestly during the day anymore. Now they just extended this lease until April, which I think is fucking bullshit. Do something better with your money.
Yeah, no one cares. Story time. When you go to prison in Pennsylvania, certain people are allowed to go to boot camp. So to be able to go to boot camp, basically you have to have a nonviolent crime and have less than 2 years left to your minimum. So if you have a 3 to 6, but you did a year in the county, when you go upstate, the judge can say, yeah, we'll let you do boot camp. Then you go to boot camp. So now instead of doing your 2 years, you do 6 months in boot camp and it's mandatory parole. You immediately get released once your boot camp's over. But if you fuck up while you're in boot camp, if you get any write-up, they send you immediately to a prison and you finish your time. So a lot of times when people got kicked out of boot camp, they would end up coming to the prison that I was in because it was one of the closest prisons to the boot camp. So we're chilling on the block one day, a bunch of new dudes come in. One of the dudes asked to play cards with us, so he's sitting there playing cards. We asked him where he came from and shit, and he said he got kicked out of boot camp. He was 5 months in of his 6-month boot camp and got kicked out for an open razor, which is just fucking stupid. So now he has like 18 months to his minimum, but because he got that write-up, he probably won't make parole, so he'll end up doing at least another 2.5 years. So a couple days later, he's standing there waiting for the phone, and the way the phones used to be was there were 4 phones on the block, and there was really no list. Like, you could sign up, but it didn't really matter. Whoever was on the phone would use the phone, and then they'd pass it off to their homie, pass it off to the next guy, pass it off to the next guy. Ad break. Check the link in my bio. It's a calendar that will show you everything cool that's going on in your area every day. Well, at boot camp, they were a little more strict about the phone because, like, it's boot camp. Everything is super strict up there. So dude goes up to dude. He's like, yo, I need the phone. The dude that he's talking to has used the same phone at the same time on the same block for like 5 years at that point. So dude on the phone just kind of like chuckles like, bro, you better get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not getting up off this phone. So the dude from boot camp's like, okay, say less. Like, I'll come see you in the cell later. Well, dude on the phone, he wasn't going for that. He stood up. He's like, no, this shit ain't starting to sell. I'm right here. What's good? So now everybody in the block is just watching to see what's about to happen. So we're like, dude just came out of boot camp. Like, he gonna bitch up because he's trying to go home. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. Like, you stop doing so much nutty shit when you're about to come home because you're trying to make parole and leave. But no, that's not what happened. The dude from boot camp said, okay, say no more. Pulls a knife out of his pants and starts stabbing the dude on the phone. There's no CO on the block at this time. The only people that can see are the bubble. Well, the bubble is right here and the phones are right below the bubble. So anybody on the phone, you can't see from the bubble unless you look out the window and look down. When the CO goes to come back on the block, he sees what's going on through the Sally Port window, so he calls backup. Bunch of COs run onto the block. Dude throws the knife down because, like, he's not trying to get in no more trouble. Well, when the cops run over, I guess they got a little too rough for his liking. Mind you, just stabbed somebody. Now he starts throwing hands with the cops. So after they took him off the block, we never saw the dude again because they'll transfer you out for a staff assault or a stabbing. Like, they get rid of you. Like, a year later, one of my homies comes up to me and he's like, yo, you remember dude that did that stabbing on your block that was in boot camp? He proceeds to tell me this dude got a 14 to 28 year sentence for that staff assault and that stabbing. And that, kids, is how you turn a 6-month bid into 15 fucking years. And to the commenter, you see how I slid that ad right there in the middle of this story? That was just for you to let you know that you might hate, but I still make money.
All right, fine. I'll tell you why I hate The Office so much. I hate The Office. It's kind of deep. I'll tell you why. When I was in high school, The Office was on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock every single night on NBC. Right before that was 30 Rock. And if I had PVR, when I got PVR, I was also simultaneously recording Grey's Anatomy. I digress. In the early 2000s, it was kind of a niche reference to know who Ricky Gervais was. It wasn't like, oh, this guy's like unheard of, but it was cool. That's how hipsters met other hipsters in high school. And that's how I met two of my friends, Jackson and Emily Pace. I literally made friends at other schools that I had this commonality with, which is that we were obsessed with The Office and we bought all the box DVDs and we would like share the DVDs with each other. I had a flip phone where you could personalize the message when you closed the phone, and mine said, I love Jim Halpert. Also had an I love Jim Halpert t-shirt from the NBC store at 30 Rock. Oh fuck, I should pull up a picture of me wearing that. Paid $6 to get a polyphonic xylophone whistle version of the Office theme song to be my fucking ringtone on my chintzy phone. Missed my prom after party to watch Tina Fey host SNL. I was so fucking obsessed with every show on NBC, and this is what's sad. They have these writers programs that you could apply to at NBC, and I never applied because I thought I just wouldn't be able to do it and I wouldn't be good enough. And you know what's so funny? Because now that I'm 10 years older or 11 years older or however much older I am, I'm like, I could have fucking done that. I should have done that. Anyway, whatever. So needless to say, I'm a virgin till I'm like 20. All I do is watch TV and make funny jokes, never wax my eyebrows. I relate so heavily with the idiots on this show, and meanwhile I am an idiot who just sits home and watches these shows. Fucking turnaround. So now I'm like 30, right? Isn't the very quality that made me miss some of the most, I don't know, teen moments of my life something that people celebrate now? Like, I was a loser. Can you believe that? I don't know. Look at these tits. I was a loser. And now every Tinder profile is like, just looking for a Pam to my gym. Oh, like this Michael Scott quote, that Michael Scott quote. So my boyfriend, like so many other people, is rewatching The Office on Netflix. And I literally just, he's like, I know you don't like it. I'm like, it's not that I don't like it. It's that I loved it. I loved it before you did. I don't need to hear you laughing at these fucking jokes now. Like, my boyfriend's like a jock in high school. He's hot. Like, oh, is everybody thinking this is cool now? I thought it was cool the whole fucking time. And guess what? I was still a fucking virgin, and I'm still not a writer for TV. And whose fucking fault is that? I don't know, actually. And the worst part is that 30 Rock's funnier. 30 Rock's funnier. 30 Rock is funnier than The Office. I don't give a shit. It is. Watch it. You know what? Actually, if you are just sitting there watching The Office like a fucking loser and you haven't seen 30 Rock, go fuck yourself.
Hey guys, let me tell you why I don't trust my grandmother. So first off, everybody got asthma.